Welcome to this week's episode of Success in Women. I'm Linda.
I'm Andrea.
And today we're going to be talking about reunions and gatherings and different things of that nature. But if you remember, last week we didn't have a tip, so we're going to have two. So I'm going to give you one little tip that I use when we have game night. So my sister and her husband, we like to play dominoes a lot. And if you ever had a big dominoes, a set of 12 is the numbering that we have. That's a big can to tip over and then look for the one that you're going to start with. We like to start with the 00 so that at the end we could catch somebody if they're close and score. So we always have a little baggie and we put the 00. So when we're finishing our last round, we actually put the 00 and our little trains inside the little baggie, and we'd have it ready so we can dump all the tiles out, and the baggie's already got the 00 ready to go to start the game. It just saves a little bit of time if you're doing it, when you're finishing the game night instead of, looking for it when you're going to start a game night. So that's my little tip.
And I have no idea what any of that was all about because I don't play dominoes.
Oh my God. And it's funny because when you were here one Sunday, I was going to say we should play dominoes, but then you got up and left. So we didn't bother. It was a long day anyway. But
right.
The thing is, one day I wanted to show you because I think it'll be even more fun with 4 people.
You'll have to teach me.
I've played with 2 and it's okay. 3 is more difficult, but it would be even more difficult at 4. So it would be more of a challenge. And it's such a simple game that for those of you that know dominoes, and I only learned that as an adult, by the way, that was not a game I played as a young person.
No.
But as an adult, my sister, that's one of the games that she loves to play.
Oh, really?
And it's, we like to play card games, but she gets bored with card games. And dominoes, she'll never get bored. Wow. Dominoes, she'll play every night if you ask her.
Wow.
Yeah, she loves it. She absolutely loves it.
I like Scrabble myself.
Well, we play that on the ship.
Yeah.
My sister and I play Scrabble a lot on the ship. Even with my nephew, I did that. That's fun. I actually have to buy one. I don't even own one.
Wow.
But anyway.
Okay, and my tip is about, is the household tip. So, sometimes you drop an earring or you drop a pill or a button, and it rolls under the sofa, rolls under the coffee table, and you cannot get to it. Well, I've learned this little tip that if you take your vacuum cleaner, the hose, and you attach say a nylon or a fine netting, a cheesecloth, something like that, and you put the elastic around it and turn it on, and you get the hose underneath, it will suck up the item, and it'll be right on the nylon right there for you. Isn't that great?
I love that tip because never would have thought about that.
No.
But oh my God, that happens to so many of us at some point.
And it gets harder and harder to get down on the floor.
Yeah, you're right.
To look underneath the sofa. And for me right now, my grandson with his little toys. They're all rolling underneath the sofa. So that I found that was a really nice, easy tip to help.
Anyway, this week we're going to be talking about, Andrea and I recently just found out that our school, our high school, is having a reunion. And we were supposed to have one, I think, in 2020
just
when
before
COVID hit. And of course it got canceled. And it's been canceled ever since. But this year, one of my high school chums had actually sent me a text and told me that, it's going to be on this year in July, and really looking forward to it because I haven't seen a lot of these people. And matter of fact, I haven't seen most of the people except at the school reunion.
Right. And if you recall, I had never gone to a school reunion. I had heard that they had some. But when they had was it the 25th?
Yep.
I decided I was going. So I went up to our hometown and I decided to go. And that's where I reconnected with Linda and your sister in a sort of way. I hadn't seen you for many, many years. And then you were there with your brother and your sister, and we kind of reconnected a little bit. So that was like a little introduction to what was to come.
and so what they were trying to do was have them every 5 years. And so now it's been, I don't know, probably getting closer to 10 years since the
Yeah.
last reunion, because I can't remember when the last one was, but it's always nice because, believe it or not, my grade 9 was 4B9E. So it was a 4-year business program, grade 9 English, because we had English and French courses.
Right.
French at that time, we were sharing a school. Anyway, and but it's my grade 9 class that tends to go in a bigger percentage of people
Really?
than all the others. And so for the grade 9ers that I went to school with, you know, it's been a lot of years, and that's the ones that I end up reconnecting with
Oh,
all the
cool.
time. It seems like when I've talked to some people, because they live local, they see a lot of the locals all the time.
Right.
But for us that have moved away and have been away for many, many years, the school reunion just brings all of that back.
It
and
does.
It's so much fun to reconnect.
I know.
And matter of fact, one of my older brothers reconnected with his high school sweetheart
That's
at the
right.
school reunion.
That reunion.
That was I
at.
knew when you said my brother had
Yeah.
been there because we had convinced him to go. He was recently separated or divorced, and we convinced him to go, and he ended up reconnecting with his high school sweetheart, and they are married today,
Yeah.
happily married today,
And
after
that-
all those years.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like people, they don't want to go, or I don't want to go. Make the effort. Go. You don't know what might happen, who you might run into, reconnect with, and then other people might bring newer friends that they tag along, and it's just such a fun weekend.
It really is. And I know when I was telling my older sister, Nancy, you know, about the school reunion, she goes, I don't care about that. Nancy, and we talk about this, Nancy is happy in her own skin. She's happy being on her own. Where I'm a social butterfly, my younger sister's a social butterfly. We love to be around people. And so if we have an opportunity to reconnect, we want to do that.
Exactly.
So when Andrew and I were in high school, we were friends as grade schoolers, but as high school friends, we weren't really. We didn't hang around because she
Well,
had her
I
group.
was in a different
different course.
I was in the 5-year business
Yes, you were.
course, and you were in the 4. So
Right.
you kind of tend, and then also
You meet
your
your other-
social friends change, and
Well, it does because I ended up in the school cafeteria because they lost my school records, and I ended up in the cafeteria, and that's where I met my best high school friend that I hung around with the whole time I was in high school for the 4 years, and it was like so amazing. And she's the one, even though we don't talk that often, because she's still up in Sudbury, and I'm here
Yeah.
in down in Toronto. But we stay connected once or twice a year. We'll either text or the odd time she'll come and visit. But the thing is, we've been besties all through high school. Everything that a teenager can go through,
Yeah, right.
we were going through together. We were like two peas in a pod our whole 4 years, and it was wonderful. And I would have only met her because they lost my records.
Right,
Because
yeah.
I don't know, because she was stuck in the cafeteria. If I had just gone into the grade 9, integrated with those people, I might have met other people and
Right.
become best friends with them. And I love this friend dearly, and she's had a really interesting life, has an interesting life. And that girl is, the challenges she's been through, she has a smile on her face, and she will be one of the first in line to be going to that school reunion to reconnect
good.
with all these people that she hasn't seen in years as well.
Yeah.
And I was so happy that she let me know so that I can be up there
And
as
you
well.
know, it's so great that there are people out there that initiate these
Yeah.
reunions and do the work.
Yeah, because that's all volunteer.
It's all volunteer, and not everybody's up for the challenge because, like I said before, we're getting lazy. And I was just telling Linda recently, just before Christmas, my husband, who has a best friend that they've been best friends since 5 years old, and there was a period, a couple of years, where we didn't associate with them, and then
Fallouts happen.
It happens, and they reconnected, and everything's great now. And they were at lunch one day, and they were talking about their old days when they were in their 20s, and all the guys hang out with their cars at this specific restaurant. They said, wouldn't it be good to see everybody? So they did. The both of them got on the phone. They initiated it, and just before Christmas, they had a luncheon, and about 25 of their friends all showed up, and it was amazing. They were, they took pictures, and I could tell that they were all like chummy again, and high fives, but they initiated it. If they just sat there, talked about it, and did nothing. Nothing would have happened.
And you know what would have happened, Andrea? One day they'd find out they passed away.
Right.
They'd see the obit, or somebody would call them, and they'd show up at a funeral.
Right.
And instead, they made the effort. And these are all guys in their 60s and early 70s
right.
that are like, haven't seen each other for probably many years.
Yeah.
Some of them might have been connected, but they weren't all connected.
All connected.
During
right.
that time. And to reconnect, because two friends made an effort to reach out. And it's like my friend, up in Sudbury. She made sure that I stayed connected with what was going on at our old school.
That's right.
And I am so excited that, like I said, I've already told my younger sister she's planning to go. Of course, I told Andrea, so we're all planning to go.
Yes.
We're trying to let other people that we know, that we went to school with, know about it, because it's not always easy, because they don't have all of our email addresses.
Right.
People have moved and lost contact and stuff.
Right.
Now with social media, it's going to be a little easier for
Yes.
some people to be putting stuff out, for it to start to spread.
It'll spread. And and it's like the way we connected. When my mother had phoned me that day to say, I think Linda's in Florida, and I could have said, oh, that's nice, and
That's
be
it.
the end of it. But I said, really? I said, call her mom and get her cell number. And because I took that initiative, here we are today.
Yeah, it's true.
But you have to do that. Don't just sit back and say, maybe tomorrow, whatever. Do it. And my other girlfriend, she's a nurse, retired, and her and her friend decided, you know what, we haven't had a reunion. Let's do one. And it's 50 years. The two of them have put this together. A lot of work, because, like you say, people have gone far and wide. But, you get one person who might have stayed connected to one person. And so now they're having this big reunion, and they're so excited about it.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that, because one of your friends, she's slowly becoming my friend, she is going on a cruise with some of her friends from the last cruise that they got together. She said, I think, was 10 years ago.
Right.
And they're doing that in March as a gathering. Well, I also remember one of my friends back in the Toronto area, she said they've been doing that now with some of her school friends. I think about every 5 years they plan this big trip.
Perfect.
And just the girls. There's
Just
no
the
husbands
girls.
allowed, no kids allowed, but the girls are getting together again.
Right.
Why not? I
Why
remember
not?
a lot of years ago when there were always guys planning golf holidays and different things, and women would never do that.
Right.
Because they never wanted to take away anything from the family coffers for something, because they thought it was too selfish.
Right.
But you know what? We all need to be connected to people.
We do.
And not only that, what's interesting, Andrea was telling me recently, her husband has a standing breakfast every Saturday while he's in Canada, every Saturday, that he's been doing for how many years, Andrea?
Oh, geez, 30 years.
He's been doing that with his lawyer. And his lawyer is what you said, about
He's
80?
90.
Oh.
He's 90 years old. He's still a very, very active lawyer.
Yeah, still practicing,
And,
but still showing up for breakfast.
Showing up for breakfast, and it's open invitation to all their little circles. So
Yep.
any given Saturday, there could be 5, there could be 2, there could be 3, but everybody knows where they can be on Saturday morning
At
if
a
they
certain
want
time.
company and have
Yep.
a breakfast.
Isn't that amazing?
That's fantastic. And I say that's how you stay young. That's how you stay relevant. That's how you stay alive. Something to look forward to, and even it's inspiring for my husband, who's 71, to go have breakfast with his 90-year-old lawyer that's sharp as a whip.
Yep.
And so you don't think about, oh, I'm getting old.
not
I
age.
can't. No. It's all mindset.
Yeah. And I love that, because actually, more than anything, why I like it, Andrew, is because Most men don't do that.
That's right.
Most men are not connected with other men unless it's through their work and it's for work reasons, or they're socially connected through their wives because the wives plan, the outings and the dinner parties and stuff.
Right.
But a lot of guys,
Just guys on guys.
guys
right?
need guys.
Yes.
And they just don't do that. And somebody had to make the effort. And I think because your husband is quite social, he's probably the one that started this. Because if he wasn't, he's the one that's definitely connected and making it happen all the time.
Right.
Even having that gathering before Christmas.
Right.
That's so typical of her husband because he is a person who, he might say he doesn't like people all the time because he likes his own downtime. That's
Yeah.
true. But he loves people. He really does love
and
people.
especially his Italian group of guys that he grew up with. They have a lot of laughs. They have a lot of stories, and I've been a part of those stories when I first met them in my 20s. But even before that, when I hear some of the stories, you just it makes you happy.
Yeah.
And that's what it should do for them and
Yep.
for all of us. Like, remember those happy times, bring them up, and
But create them.
and create new ones with
Yes.
those same people. I find, like I said once before, getting Linda back in my life has brought me so much joy, and it makes me happy when we think about when we were younger and all the things we did and all the things we have in common.
Yeah.
And all
Still.
the people we have in common.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because where we come from, say a certain type of food we always enjoyed.
Right.
And other people say, really?
Yeah,
You ate
yeah.
that? And yeah, we loved it, So it goes on and on like that. And then when we talk about our parents and we know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And we have faces and matching up.
And the thing is, we had a large period of time where she went her way, I went my way. She had a family with kids. I got married and didn't have any kids, but our lives were just different, but not that different. When you reconnected, you realized how similar they really were.
That's right.
Like even with the traveling that you just did it as a family. We did it, my husband and I.
Right.
But our lives went two different roads and basically came back to the same
Exactly.
path. And it's great because we can connect and stay connected because of our commonalities that we have, the things that we share and the things that we still want to do in life.
Right. And through that too, I've connected with some of the friends that we had
Yes.
as younger that
Yes.
I wouldn't have, and you the
Yeah.
same. So don't be afraid to reach out to old school buddies.
Right. Somebody, can
yeah.
you imagine how shocked they would be
Yeah.
if out of the blue you called up somebody and just wanted to reconnect? And actually, it brings me to another friend that we grew up around our area on Facebook. Now, I'm not really on Facebook the same way
That's
you
right,
are.
right.
And but anyway, we actually got to reconnect.
Yes.
And talk with her. And we both hadn't talked to her in, God, many, many years.
Yeah, so we FaceTimed her from
Yeah.
my house one night, and it was amazing. And so
Just
now,
like as if we had never been apart.
Yeah, and I'm totally
And it's
connected
decades.
with her now
Yeah.
on Facebook, and
And that was decades
hope
away.
you're doing well. I know you had knee surgery.
She knows who she's talking about.
Yes.
So, but the thing is, it's great to reconnect with people.
is.
And when there's opportunities, and maybe you haven't heard of a school reunion or whatever, but why don't you contact the school and find out if there's
Right.
something going on?
Right.
Because maybe they want it. Maybe there's a planning committee. Maybe they're still looking for volunteers before they can start,
Exactly.
really getting something happening. But it's great to be involved. It's
That's right.
great to be a participant as well.
Right.
But whichever way that you do it, reconnecting.
Yeah, if you have that skill, social skill, and you don't mind putting in the little extra work to pick up the phone, call a few people, and they'll call a few people. And all you have to do is arrange a time and a place.
Yeah.
And now my same girlfriend, the nurse, they had decided on their street, she had a friend over for coffee. And the girl said, we should do this more often. And then Julie said, you know what? We should ask all the ladies on our street. And now they have a monthly coffee morning.
That's
and every
wonderful.
morning it's at Every week,
They
a month,
take
it's at
turns.
they take turns and
Wow.
bring different things.
Yeah.
And it just started like that out of the blue. And so now they all have something to look forward to.
You know
they
what?
talk about events in the community and their children, and it's a great thing. She's so happy.
What's really great about that too, I mean, as women, I know we like to be connected, but as we get older, a lot of women are becoming widows.
Right.
And it gets me thinking, one of my friends that I was telling Andrew about recently, she actually, again, a lot of women that are on their own sometimes find it difficult to go out. They don't have somebody that they can call on to go out for coffee, whatever.
Right.
One of the things that my friend likes to do, and I like to do it too, I'm single, I like to go to the casino because I get out, I get to be around people which I love, and I love games.
Or even bingo.
Or bingos, anything like that, where you can
Right.
just get out. Anyway, so my friend goes out one day because she was really bored, it's winter in Canada, and she said, I just need to get out and do something. Her son lives, in another province, her grandson, he's busy in his own life, and it was kind of like, it's winter, what's she gonna do?
What can you do?
So she decides she's going to take some money out of the bank and go to the casino. She ends up sitting at this one machine, and on either side of her sat these two ladies. They didn't know each other, but my friend, being as friendly as she is, started chatting up both of them. Anyway, ended up all three of them started talking, found out all three of them were widows.
Wow.
All three of them lived not too far from each other, and they decided that they connected so well.
Wow.
And like I said, did the other two ladies know each other? She goes, no. And they weren't
Wow.
talking, but until my friend got into the middle, started talking to this one, started talking to that one. And before you know it, it was 4:00 in the morning before they left each
Wow.
other. They were like having so much fun. They said, we have to do this again.
Nice.
Because they're all widows and they all really just need to have something
Somebody.
or
And
somebody.
opportunity is everywhere.
It
To
is.
connect with somebody, to make a friend. Just, hi.
I told you,
Hello.
I just met a new friend in the laundry room,
Exactly.
and it's kind of
Don't
like,
be afraid. If they don't want to talk,
Yeah.
they'll ignore you.
that's right. And you know what? But move on. It's next. They've got something else going on in their life. That's okay.
That's okay.
But you know what? Don't be afraid because you think that you're going to be shut down. So what?
So
There's
what?
always going to be people shutting you down, but there's always going to be somebody open and somebody that could end up becoming your new
That's
best friend
right.
because you have so much in common and you never realize. You might have seen them.
And that's another thing I say. Don't be quick to say no to all the invitations, all the opportunities. If a group, it's so easy to say no.
Yeah.
I don't want to bother. I don't want to get dressed up. I
Exactly.
don't want to,
You got
get in the
lazy.
car, whatever. Just do it. You don't know what's around the corner, and you don't know the plan that might be in place for you to meet
Other people.
other people, and
Yeah.
a husband, a friend, whatever, and
somebody
an
that
opportunity.
Shares, but somebody that
Yeah.
might share some of your interests.
Right.
Because all of our friends, like I like to golf, Andrew doesn't golf. That doesn't mean we can't be friends.
Exactly.
So I golf with other people.
Exactly.
So you don't know that person that
And
you
there's
could,
things that they could join, like a bowling league, a curling team. There's all kinds of ways to get out there and
Yeah.
socialize.
Yes.
And do it. Make the effort.
Go
you
on your
won't
own.
regret it. You won't
That's
regret
right.
it.
There are all kinds of things that you can
Yeah.
feel safe and join, and then all of a sudden you've got new friends and something. Whether you've made a friend or not, don't use that as the only reason you're
No,
going.
no.
You got to enjoy the
Enjoy
activity.
it. Have fun.
Yeah, and just look forward to that experience. So I think that, I'm liking the fact that people are getting reconnected again,
Right.
and now the school reunion is something
Oh.
for us to look forward to.
And we will tell you all
Yes,
about it.
we will. We'll be taking pictures, and we will definitely have a show talking about how it was to reconnect after so many years. And Andrea, I don't know if you remember this, but in the library, they also talk about all the people that have passed away.
Oh,
And so
okay.
many of the people that, we went to school with. That means they're our age.
Mm-hmm.
They're no longer here.
Right. So we better appreciate
You
them.
gotta live every day today as if it's your last
Yeah.
because you don't know if it will be. Oh, and that just gets me thinking. One of my friends up in Sudbury was recently telling me about a very good friend of hers. She's only been with this man about 6 years. Happy, happy, happy. There was an 18-year age difference, didn't seem to matter. They were like two peas in a pod, like so different from when she was married to her abusive husband. Anyway, very happy life, 65 years old. My friend's husband, 65. Another friend of theirs turned 65. So they had a group party back in the fall. And doesn't he friggin' die in this month? No, last month he died.
Wow.
But it was like, how does that happen?
Yeah.
To somebody that's healthy and everything else, but he didn't know. He didn't expect it, but the good news is he lived every day.
Great.
He was living like it was his last.
Good.
And that was the one thing, even with her, they spent
She has some good memories.
great memories.
Yeah.
They did everything together.
Good.
They traveled. They did, oh my God, the stuff that my friend was telling me, they did everything. And so they were really making up for the years they didn't have each other. Thank God.
Yeah.
Because we don't know when it's our last
No.
day, let alone our last year. And if we knew that, we would be happier in our lives, I would expect.
And we'd be living it up.
And we'd be living it up. So find those ways to reconnect with people or activities that you gave up that you could still physically do. Do them. Just have fun
Yeah,
again.
Have fun again.
I like that as a good ending.
Yeah.
Have fun again. That's what this is all about. Even though we want to help you be more successful, Andrea and I are all about the fun.
Yeah.
And
But
that's-
being happy is
Yes.
being successful.
Yes, it is. That's a big, big win.
Yeah.
When you're happy, you are
Yeah.
successful.
Yes.
Yeah. So, ladies, this is this week's episode. We hope you liked it, and we hope you,
Share.
and we hope that you subscribe. We really do. We will continue doing these no matter what. I'm Linda.
I'm Andrea.
Until next week.
Bye, ladies.